We are live. Are we coming through loud and clear? One person's watching, or is that me? I'm not entirely sure. If one person is watching who isn't me, let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear. Hopefully, should be. Not had any issues with StreamYard today. I had issues Friday night, but none today. So if one person is watching, please let me know. Oh, Lorne, what's up, man? Nice to see you on board. Yeah, and I'm literally just trying to fit a live stream in because it's been a busy night in terms of watching live streams and live streams to come. Christian was on live. I was watching him talk about Chainsaw Massacre. I've just watched Nick Lost River Driving. He's just finishing up his stream. I know Steak Sauce is. Oh, what's up, Dan? What's up, man? I know Steak Sauce is up at 12:30 UK time. And like they say in Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams, you know. So I try to apply that to my sort of streaming existence. It's just common courtesy not to impose on someone else's stream. And plus, they're all bigger YouTubers, so it makes sense for me not to do that because otherwise nobody will watch. So it's slightly selfish reasons as well. But yeah, so. This is going to be a quick, probably a little 45-minute stream because I know Steak Sauce goes live at like 12:30 my time, and so I was meant to go live Friday night, but I had like issues with the internet and StreamYard, but it all seems to be good now, and I feel like I'm going over old ground now because I feel like I'm going to jump on the old Texas Chainsaw Massacre gravy train. Everybody's been talking about it. I was meant to talk about it on Friday night, and I feel like I've missed the boat slightly, but fuck it, because it's a film that everybody's talking about, and it's Lorne, I don't know if you've seen it. Obviously, let me know what you think. But I know Dan, you've had issues, but you weren't overly critical. But the majority, a lot of people in the community seem to be highly in favour, and I'd echo that sentiment. I think it's a solid entry to the franchise. It doesn't do anything new. It does. We have a saying in the UK. It does exactly what it says on the tin, which basically means it's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's set in Texas via Bulgaria. There's a chainsaw, and we get a massacre. So it's all good. What you expecting Daniel Day-Lewis to appear and give a monologue? No, of course not. It is what it is. Big T, what's up, man? New Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but if they're going to do one, just go back to its roots. The timeline over the Chainsaw Massacre franchise, it's so convoluted now. It's difficult to know where to go. This is a direct sequel to the original, which is what Halloween 2018 did. They brought back a legacy character, although not the original, obviously. But a legacy character who nobody really gave a shit about. Like really, Sally? Who cares? I mean, and I think they treated her with the respect she deserved in that Leatherface just completely owned her within a couple of seconds. That's all she deserved, really. This is no Laurie Strode talking about. We haven't got the connection between. There's no connection between Sally and Leatherface the way there is between Laurie and Michael. It's just not. And okay, you could argue the original film has that, but the franchise going forward has not done anything to connect them two characters. So, and it's even shown in the film where Leatherface just looks at her as if who are you? She's just another person. And bearing in mind, in this universe, he's gone on the rampage. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. He's gone on the rampage in the first film, killed a bunch of people, and then gone to the orphanage, and then not, unless I've read it wrong, he's not actually done anything criminal. He's not killed anyone. He's gone, lived a quiet life with his surrogate mother, and it's only her death by this bunch of hipsters who come into the town who've actually triggered him into a killing spree. So it's surprising that he doesn't remember in a way, because he isn't like a mass murderer in this universe. He's only killed like the bunch of kids in '74, unless I've misread the film. Um, let's go. Civil Law says pocket review. It's dumb. it's dumber than a rock. It's not the worst of the series by any means, but it's pretty much in line with the bad sequels. Well, I wasn't expecting you to be like in massive favour of the film, Law. To be fair. You're just saying hi. I have to work in a few. That's good, man. I thought you might be working, to be honest with you. Dan says it starts off highly positive, but you still start seeing the negative reviews coming in to balance it out. Yeah, I mean, I'm still surprised by how much positivity this film has actually received, even by non like hardcore fans of horror films. Even some more casual fans have been like more favourable than I thought they would be. The kills are great, but that's all I saw in it. Well, the characters aren't likeable. That's sure. I'm just going to go into a little bit more depth about it now. I did take a few notes. Opening scene. Now, this is a throwback, I think, to the original, but they mention reference to Austin. And obviously, I do keep in touch with American politics and whatnot. Why, I don't know. It's kind of like bombarded on a daily basis, and I am kind of like up with the woke agenda well, obviously in the UK it's bad, and in America it's even worse. But I do know that Austin is particularly woke in Texas, and is regarded as like Texas's LA or San Francisco. And they do make a point of pointing out that they come from Austin. So these ultra woke, hipster kids have come from Austin. And I'm not sure how close to Austin this town is meant to be. It looks like it could be a long way away. Well, yeah, Bulgaria is a long way from Austin. But you know what I mean. It looks like it's the middle of nowhere. And the idea of like this gentrification doesn't work like that. You don't gentrification. It's like an organic process. It starts off in the inner city and then moves outwards. You don't just all of a sudden decide to gentrify a hick town 100 miles from nowhere. That's just insane. That does not happen, least to my knowledge. It's they say 7 hours of film, but that's not really far in Texas. Yeah, but it's still a long way in terms of. I mean, maybe I'm looking at it from a UK perspective, but gentrification to me, would you really go somewhere 7 hours away from the nearest city and just take over this town? It just seems a little bit far-fetched. But I mean, in America maybe, but I just thought that's a little bit beyond the realms of possibility. I mean, let's face it, hipsters like transport links. They want to get to. I mean, this is just a high street. You got room for one coffee shop, a comic book store. I mean, is there going to be a bank? Is there going to be? I suppose it'll be online. But I mean, it's only a small town. These hipsters, they want like their modern conveniences. Is there even a decent cell phone signal in this town, which is their main concern, surely? But yeah, so I mean, I'm just trying to like pick up things that maybe I've not seen in other reviews, and going for like maybe a slightly like different, coming from a different angle. I will talk about the kills, obviously, but is it obviously this is a thing a lot of people have brought up about the wokeness. Now, the film's only like 74 minutes long. Apparently there was like 10 minutes cut. Now, I don't know whether the 10 minutes cut were like some ultra woke shit that they've decided to cut out and make the film anti-woke. I'm still not entirely sure whether the film did it start off as woke and then they've just like decided, you know what, this isn't working because people aren't going to buy it. This is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and maybe this is just not going to work, and they've just like tweaked it. Because let's face it, nobody wants to see wokeness in a Texas Chainsaw in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie unless it's, you know, hipsters, millennials getting wiped out with a chainsaw. People want to see that. They don't want to see. People don't want to be, you know, dictated to in a slasher film. They don't want to be told how to think. And I have to think at some point they have decided to go down the line of, you know what, we're just going to make this for the fans. We're going to turn it on its head. So the anti-gun girls end up going for the guns. These millennial hipster types they're trying to cancel Leatherface. They just get a chainsaw in the gut. I mean, that's just the way it came across to me, and I hope that's true. I mean, I really do, because, you know, get woke, go broke. It's true. I mean, I think there is legitimate validity in that saying. I don't really see where the Marcus is, because when you try and appeal to like these sort of like woke, you know, do-gooders, do-gooders is maybe an unfair description, but the people you're trying to appeal to who are constantly offended by everything, these people don't consume pop culture. These people exist on Twitter looking for something to be offended by. That's all they do. They are not interested in the franchise you love. They're not interested in movies, in comic books, in video games or books. All they're interested in doing is going on Twitter, in the coffee shops, drinking the soy lattes and complaining about stuff. That's all they do. So why do big corporations, big organizations, why did they try constantly to appeal to these people? It makes zero sense. I've never understood it. But maybe the tide is turning. Maybe they've realized, you know, maybe they need to realize the big money, making money is what these companies are about. Appeal to the majority and not the minority. So, yeah, hopefully this is it. You know, hopefully this is a stepping stone in the right direction. Dan says the opening definitely felt like they were going to go heavily politically. Fortunately, that all died down, which is what maybe that's where the cuts came in, because the film was definitely edited at some stage. From what I'm led to believe, there was like 10 minutes cut out at some point. It was a very short film. Like, we're talking like, what was it, 74 minutes? If you take the credits out, very, very short film. Big T says, there's one point in the movie I was confused about when the older women in the cornfield looking at the shrine. There was somebody behind it, but they never said who. I'd have to rewatch it. I must have missed that. Yeah, I must have missed that, Big T. It's actually, I was watching Nick's stream, Lost Trip for Driving, and I think somebody mentioned something similar to that, and he said the same thing as me. He said he must have missed it. He said he'd have to rewatch it. Dan says, I agree. If they keep it in present time, give it that old school feel, keep it in the phone in the house. Yeah. Right, where was I next? Next point. The whole bringing back the legacy, bringing back Sally. I might have briefly mentioned this at the very beginning. We haven't got that connection with Sally that we have with Laurie Strode, or even Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, this isn't the original character anyway. It's the original character, but it's not the original actress for obvious reasons. Yeah, there isn't that connection between her and Leatherface the way there is between Laurie and Michael. Maybe to her personally, but to an audience, we don't really see that. We don't really care. I mean, I personally don't care. I did not feel the need to bring her back at all. The fact that they brought her back, and the fact that she was like basically taken out in the blink of an eye, I think was the right way to go, because, you know, Leatherface in this movie is an absolute force of nature, and he may be, you know, late 60s, but so Sally, you know, she's an old woman now, and okay, they've obviously hinted that, you know, she obviously knows how to handle a gun now, and she's become maybe a bit of a survivalist, a bit like Laurie Strode. They do seem to be ripping off Halloween 2018 slightly, but in terms of our relationship with Sally as an audience, for me, there's nothing there. I just couldn't care less about the character. So when he did kill her off, it was like, good. Or for an audience, the one constant, I think that the thing about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is the one constant is Leatherface. He's the one constant we've had. It's not like Halloween where we've had Donald Pleasence through, 6 movies or 5 movies, I think I should say. Or we've had Laurie through the first 2 and then coming back and doing like 4 more. With the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, because it's so all over the place, Leatherface has been the one constant. So that's who we attach ourselves to, which is one of the reasons why, we sympathise with Leatherface. He is a sympathetic character, but also the fact that we've gone through each movie with him personally and not with any of these other characters, that these characters come and go. He is the one constant. So that's, I think, another reason why Sally doesn't really work in this film. It just feels forced. It feels like a cash grab to try and maybe, get in on the whole Halloween thing with Laurie, but yeah, it doesn't work. And I was like I say, I'm glad that she was just taken out in with ease by Leatherface. I think that's the right way to go. Let's see. Let's go. I'm missing out comments now. It does pass it. Have I totally missed out Lorne's other comment? I think. Lorne says, it's not anti-woke, though. Leatherface is the villain of the story. It's about the right to violence reaction to progressive youth. That's why it's an older Leatherface preying on young progressives. Okay. I knew you'd give it a more articulate take on it than I would, Lord. What's up, DJ? What's up, man? Nice to see you in the chat. I always wonder if it's chopped up in the field. Well, I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, let's face it, they are going to be making a sequel to this film. So, and yeah, it does passively criticise progressives as acting overly broadly, the D plot, but it's the violent reaction that's the focus. Do you guys know how to make money? Do you guys know how to make money from YouTube? Well, I would probably know how to make money if I was making like quality content, but and I had a lot of subscribers, but not really. I mean, I'm never going to make money from YouTube, DJ. Maybe Lorne probably could, but I certainly couldn't. I just do it for fun. That said, the rating's absolute shit. Well, yeah, it is. I'm not going to argue with that one. I think whatever they cut must have leaned heavily on woke messaging to make the test audience hate it so much. Possibly. Yeah, I mean, aiming at a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, fan base, the woke stuff, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So where we go? Yeah, going on to the kills. I mean, this is the plus point. The kills are fantastic. The kills are kind of, they're nasty, but they're not like, the fun nasty, if you get what I'm saying. It's like the gory, but the like fun gory. It's like when you watch like a Rob Zombie film or something, it's that ilk where it's like gory, because the zombie films are so like nasty and like seedy, and it's just like the people are so vile. There's like an extra layer of nastiness to the kills in his films. Even when certain like a film like 31. I mean, there's something quite. This 31 is probably is less bloody than this film, but because that film, because the characters are so unlikable, to maybe not the antagonists, sorry, the protagonists are half decent people, but because the antagonists are so evil and so horrible, there's just like an added nastiness to the kills, even though it is less bloody than this film. This film it's just like, it's like going to an amusement park and going on a roller coaster. It's fun. It's not. It's a buzz. It's not scary. It's just a fun ride, and you're laughing. You're not at any point sort of going, "That's disgusting." You can't just like laughing at the over the top grossness of the film. You're not. There's never any point where you're kind of like, "Oh my god, this is too much," because it's just a fun. It's a fun ride. It's like a roller coaster ride. So as gruesome as the kills are, you never kind of feel that this is this is too much. It is just like being on a roller coaster. But I mean, the kills are. I mean, the kill in the back of the police van, or the black woman who gets sawn right through the middle. Um, the mechanic who gets his leg broken. I mean, and then he gets his head paved in. That's just that was probably the highlights of the kills. But yeah, I mean, the great kills. But like I say, they never feel. It's not. I actually never, and I didn't make a point of this. What I probably staying on topic. This is a film that it's. This is the film that is as bloody as you have believed the original film to be. In that, when you watch the original film and then you don't watch it for a long time, you come back, you kind of remember it as this blood-soaked gore fest, and it was never that. This film is that, but you kind of, and that's testament to like the genius of the original film, is you kind of take parts of the film and like overplay them in your head and think it was more bloody than what it was. So a film like the 74 Chainsaw Massacre, which features like a 16th of the amount of blood letting in this film, still feels like a more well, it's certainly a more nasty film, even though there's far less violence on screen, far less blood on screen. It's just a film that gets under your skin more. This is kind of a this is a slasher film for the TikTok generation, for the Instagram generation. If that makes sense. It's very clean. It's very precise. It's very non-sweaty. So I think someone made the point about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The heat drips off the film. It just drips off that film. The heat and the sweat. You don't get that with this film. And I know it's set in Bulgaria, but it was still hot where they filmed it. But it just feels very, very sort of clean and contrived to a point. Dan says none. Yeah, you're right. I mean, although I am a fan, and I've actually stated that I think I actually preferred the remake in 2003 to the original, I still think you're right. I still kind of agree with what you're saying. It's that you can't match the original's authenticity. Just the griminess of that early 70s setting. I mean, in terms of the 2003 film, I like the characters more. I think it's I think it flows better, but it's still you can't replicate that just authenticity of the early 70s. It's impossible, and it doesn't matter what they do going forward. You'll never be able to recreate that. It's like people have said countless times. It's lightning in a bottle with that film. It's just the way times have changed now. The way Texas has probably changed. I mean, would that? I mean, the way modern technology's changed. Obviously in this film, everybody had the phone out recording on Instagram. And actually, make a good point. Actually, Lorne, you made a good point. If you're still in the chat, we were talking a while ago. I think on maybe I can't remember if it was on Sausage Factory or Region 3, or it was maybe we were talking on Pizza Stream, but about how modern technology, if you're going to use it, it has to be a situation where it doesn't matter if you've got the technology. It's going to be too late by the time the police get there. And that's a point in case with this film, because the police, what local police there are, have been wiped out anyway. And they're in this town, probably if they could be like 20 miles from the nearest police station. So if Leatherface decides to go on a rampage and they're stuck on a bus, which is the only means of way out of there, ringing the police isn't going to do any good, because by the time the police get there, it's all over. So it's a good use there of modern technology not being able to save the day. Big T says, A director needs to come along and tie the movies together to go forward. I mean, that would be a big job in itself. So tying that franchise together would mean that's a big job. If you could, how would you tie the team films together? I honestly don't. I honestly don't know what you could do. I mean, I think you would literally have to go back to the drawing board and start off from scratch and start off with a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film from the beginning and then just go and do your own thing. I don't think you can. I just think it's just too wild of a franchise to try and connect all the dots. Maybe if they went the route of a TV show and they tried to sort of go along and maybe go season 1, season 2, and do it that way. To do it in one film or like even 2 films is just, I just don't think it's possible, and I don't think there'd be anybody willing to even attempt that really. I mean, I just think with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if this is going to be the hit that I think it is, they're already talking about a sequel, which would surely be a direct sequel to this, and then probably where would they go then? They'd probably just go and reboot it again. The Chainsaw Massacre franchise is probably going to go the way of the Halloween franchise. We'll have another maybe 1 or 2 films with old Leatherface, and then maybe 2030, same as Halloween. We're just going to go back and just start it all over again. That's pretty much covered all bases, I think, for the Chainsaw Massacre, to be honest with you. I was going to say, oh yeah, great end credit sequence, great music, look great, I love that, and of course you get that final scene at the end, which hints up. I mean, we all knew he survived anyway. I will just touch on the final scene, not the very final scene, end credits. I'm talking before the film ends, just before obviously the decapitation scene, but where they, she pushes Leatherface into the water, and then they just stand and hug right by the water's edge. And I was like, are they seriously going to do that? Is this going to be like an obvious drag in now? He's going to drag one of them in and drown them. And they didn't go that route. And I'm like, well, that's nice. But then obviously when it cuts to the scene in the car and it goes into autopilot mode, and I was like, something's going to happen here. And obviously decapitation, and then just a nod to the original film when he's just spinning around with the chainsaw. That was nice. And she was annoying anyway. I mean, they were all annoying characters. We all know that. I mean, she actually could have been more annoying. She actually had a little bit of a redemption arc. She kind of like stopped before they got to the town. She was just being like such a douchebag, but she sort of came around a little bit and was slightly more like sympathetic. But none of the characters were particularly likable, really. And as other people have mentioned, that was kind of the point. They were never meant to be. We were meant to be rooting for Leatherface all along. I'm just trying to. So that's basically touched all bases on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Where am I up to now? So I've got like 50. I've got like 15. I'd like to say, I know Steak Sauce is going to be streaming soon, so I don't really want to impose on his stream, and people will start leaving anyway because. But just want to do a very, very quick thoughts on Stranger Things. Stranger Things is like obviously season 4 is dropping in the summer. Long past its sell-by date. I think most people would agree. Season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 was enjoyable. Season 3 was, they were starting to scrape the barrel. It was the beginning of the end for Stranger Things. But obviously Netflix, it's a money spinner. It's a money. The Duffer Brothers, I'm assuming they're still writing and fully involved in this. I don't know whether they own the rights to Stranger Things. Maybe somebody could mention in the chat. Because if they do own the rights, I've heard that there actually is going to be a Stranger Things 5, and that's going to like end things once and for all. But the main point I was going to make was, Lawn is going. overnight eventually. Good luck, Lorne. That sounds like fun. I'll probably see you tomorrow night on Piz's Patreon stream, hopefully. Yeah, see you later, man. Dan says, I think the best move going forward is doing a non-Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Give us a Chop Top or even a Grandpa. Yeah, I mean, I did see Grandpa prequel mentioned. That would be going way back into the past. What's up, man? What's up, Mike? You mad cunt? I think he means cunt. Can you not? Are you not allowed to type cunt on? But does the message get deleted? I'll just say it, cunt. Yeah, I am a mad cunt. Yeah. Dan says that sucks, Lord. Hope that goes smoothly for you. Big T. I was even thinking of having an investigator try to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, tying all the movies together, eventually leading to Old Man Leatherface in the sequel. You're going deep for this, Big T. You're usually not. Oh well. What if I type it? Can I on my own stream? Can I type? There you go. UK Australian slang. There you go. There it is. Cunt. You go back to Stranger Things. Yeah. So point being, right. So Stranger Things this season 4, is going to be split into 2. Now, apparently, there's going to be like almost like a full season's worth of shows in the first block, and then there's going to be a gap of like a month or so, and they're going to drop another load of episodes, but it's going to be like a full season's worth. Oh, we can't see it. Oh, Jamie's there. What's up, Jamie? I crave for something new. I'm tired of franchise. Much love. I'm exhausted. All right, so Lauren can't see that I've just typed cunt in the chat. I can see it, but obviously it's been. I'll just say cunt. Like I say, it's not a big deal in England. We say it all the time. It's like a term of endearment. So going back to Stranger Things. So they're dropping one block of episodes in if May or June. The date escapes me, but then they're dropping a second block of episodes a month later. Now they're assuring us that each block is going to be like almost like a full season in itself. So it's going to be like maybe like 7 or 8 episodes. I can't see that. What, like 16 episodes for like season 4? No, not. I'm not having that. I don't believe that. But the point I'm trying to make is, and this is a question for you guys in the chat, because I think this is something I've questioned for a long time now. Is Netflix going to change their policy of just dropping shows in one hit, like the way they do with Stranger Things and other shows? Because like I've said for a long time, it's all good, all well and good dropping these shows like in one go, but after a week, people have binge watched them and they're out of the public consciousness. People have forgotten about them. If you to name a show in the last 10 years that resonated with the public more than any other, I know what I'd say, and I'll give you a clue, although you probably don't even need a clue. What show did people go to bars, restaurants, pubs to watch the final episode of the final season? What show is that big? And to my knowledge, there's only been one show that was that big, and it certainly wasn't on Netflix, and it wasn't on Amazon Prime either. See if anyone gets it in the chat, but yeah, basically, a Netflix maybe getting onto the fact that maybe it's in there, and I don't even know if this is true financially. It's not Breaking. Well, maybe Jamie. Maybe Breaking Bad in the US, but I'm talking around the world. A show that was shown, the final episode was in the UK, in the US, across maybe Australia as well, and across the Western world. The final episode was shown live across bars, pubs, restaurants, everywhere. The interest, the public interest was so big for it. Big T, Dallas, not Dallas, Big T. Come on, we're not in the 1980s, man. I know you're joking. MASH. Oh, my God, he's been to, no, sorry, big team. So about, no, in the last 10 years. I'm not talking about the 1980s. No, maybe they were that big in the 80s, but I'm talking about in the last 10 years. I'll give you a clue. Um, it was, oh my God, are you pigs? For anyone who's not American, it won't make any sense. Okay, I'll give you a clue. It was a fantasy series. A fantasy series with a certain character called Stark. If that's should that should that should. All right, Jess, what's up, man? Jess is in the chat. Yeah, Game of Thrones basically. Game of Thrones was the biggest. Daily Ghost in the chat as well. Oh, everyone's jumping on board now. What's up, Ghost? Yeah, Game of Thrones. Yeah, so Game of Thrones is arguably the biggest TV show of the 21st century. I can't honestly think of anything. Maybe Breaking Bad, maybe, but I think across the world, I don't know any show that's like had a bigger impact. Now that was a weekly episodic TV show. Now Netflix don't do episodic TV shows. They drop them in one go. People binge watch them, and then they talk about it for a few days, and then it's gone. It's out of public consciousness. Game of Thrones has that build up, weekly build up. People online talk about what's going to happen next, who's doing what, who's this, who's that, what's going to be the final. What's going to happen the very last episode of that season. Netflix don't have that. They'll never have that. Sean's in the chat as well. What's up, Sean? You're a bit late, Sean, actually. I mean, actually started at half an hour earlier tonight. Jess, Jess is so gay, he won't my leg. And Orcs, Sean. So I finally watched the new Textures to Ask. Yeah, it's good, Sean. It's I think I liked it. You missed, you have to go back and watch my appraisal of it, but I had a good time with it. Yeah, see, Jamie, and listen, I mean, Jamie, obviously you're a big Twin Peaks fan, so obviously you'll remember back in the day, in the early 90s, Twin Peaks. This is obviously long before streaming. I remember watching the first two seasons of Twin Peaks, and every week there was that, and we didn't have the internet, so it was just talking amongst me and a couple of friends, but you had that build up, didn't you? You're wondering what's going to happen next, and then when season one ended, you've got to wait an entire year for season two, and the anticipation builds. You can't quite get that in the internet era with obviously online discussions because everyone's spoiling stuff, but it's at least with weekly episodic episodes, you've got 7 days to you've got 7 days to discuss stuff online and get in the chat rooms and get on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, whatever your thing is, and it builds up the anticipation for the next episode. With Netflix, the way they just drop a season, a TV show in one hit, you're under pressure to get it watched, because if you don't watch it in the opening 24 hours, you've then got to try and avoid social media. If it's a big show like Stranger Things, if you don't want it spoiled, you're trying to avoid social media for as long as possible to get the show watched. And then you go online to try and you want to talk about it, and people have just moved on to the next thing, and it's gone. So I mean, I can imagine for a show like Twin Peaks, which I know Jamie you're a big fan of. I can imagine like half the fun of a show like that is, especially when season 3 dropped a few years ago, is now you're in the internet era watching the first episode, and I'm assuming Twin Peaks was a weekly episodic thing, and it wasn't just all in one go. But the whole sort of that enjoyment of watching the first episode and then taking it in, going online and talking about it with friends and going in on live streams and stuff like that, and looking forward to the next episode. You don't get that with these Netflix shows. You don't see Stranger Things, live streams where people they'll do like an hour, 2 hour special, talk about the whole show, and then it's done and it's gone until next year when the next season comes out. And it's just a shame, because although Stranger Things 4 is not something I particularly want to talk about like in depth, and go online. And Strange Things 1 absolutely was the sort of show where I would have loved to have been online, and looking forward to the next episode, and like going online, watching reviews, going on live streams, taking part in live streams, talking about what's going to happen next. And we never got that, and we're never going to get that with anything from Netflix, unless, of course, they do decide to go down the route of weekly episodic shows, which Amazon Prime do. Obviously, a lot of the other streaming services do, and obviously mainstream TV do. But it is what it is. Hopefully, they will consider that in the future. Let me just wrap up a couple of comments before I wrap things up for the night, because this was only going to be a quick stream. And man, the chat tonight has been so good. 11 people at one point, which may not sound much to you, but it's a hell of a lot to me. Smash that thumbs up, guys. Yes, cheers, Dan. Hope to see you, Dan, tomorrow night. Hopefully you'll be on Piz's stream. Orc is memeing and dreaming as usual. My midnight streams are popping. Thanks, Orc. Sean says, "What's Alien 3? Well, yeah. Alien 3 is underrated. It's just a shame it came after two of the greatest sci-fi horror films of all time. It's always going to play. I mean, it's better than Resurrection. Come on, Resurrection was fucking awful. I thought you were on me. Jess says, I actually have loved binge watching before streaming. I was always a season behind everyone, but I used to wait until the full season shows came out on DVD. Lost, Breaking Bad. I loved Lost I loved Lost back in the day, before it went to up its own arse, I suppose. Twin Peaks was huge at the time. We talk about it all week in school until the next episode aired. Also, when season 3 aired, Showtime was smart and did it weekly. Yeah, I thought it was a weekly thing. Alien 3 is awesome. So I'm going to wrap things up now, guys. It's just a quick 45-minute stream. I'm going to be live tomorrow anyway on Piz's stream. Hopefully, you will have me. But yeah, everyone who jumped on tonight, man. Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for such a small channel. The chat's been great. Love you all. I will see you tomorrow night, hopefully. So yeah, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.